The following podcast contains discussions of revolution, rebellions, and routes. And as usual, spoilers. Lots of spoilers. Ready? Let's dig in. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Dun dun dun! Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Gabby, and this is Digestibles, a podcast about all the books you were told to read but probably didn't. And today we are celebrating, drumroll please, my birthday. Just kidding. That's tomorrow. Today, more importantly, today, November 5th, is Guy Fawkes Day. For those of you right now who are saying, who? Well, Guy Fawkes was an English revolutionary involved in an epic fail of a treasonous plot against King James I in 1605. The plan was to blow up Parliament, with Fawkes assigned to set off the explosion, but the scheme was discovered. Fawkes was caught red-handed with all the gunpowder, and he was arrested, tortured, and eventually executed. After, a law was passed to make November 5th an official holiday, often celebrated by lighting bonfires and setting a puppet-like figure of Fawkes on fire. The law was cancelled in 1859, but the anniversary is still observed every year. One thing has changed, though. Guy Fawkes is now seen as more of an anti-hero rather than an attempted terrorist, as he's referred to as the last man to enter Parliament with honest intentions. So yeah, like in most of history, the distinction is blurry and depends on who's writing it, really. So in the spirit of Guy Fawkes and all the freedom fighters, both real and imagined, here's a list of some of our favorite fictional revolutionaries. These guys may have started out as words on a page, but have become so popular that you've seen them in all sorts of media, on stage, on screen, and even in the news as well, proving that sometimes pop culture can be a powerful influence on social change. Number 10. V, from V for Vendetta. Let's start with the fictional character that we always connect with Guy Fawkes. Well, because he spends all his page and screen time dressed up in a Guy Fawkes mask. Of course, in Alan Moore's 1982 comic, V succeeds where Guy Fawkes failed in actually blowing up the Parliament and striking fear into the heart of his tyrannical government. Like its famous quote says, people shouldn't be afraid of their government. Governments should be afraid of their people. The 2005 film adaptation made V even more popular. Internet-based hacktivist collective Anonymous adopted the mask as their symbol. Not only that, but the mask has been worn in many protests around the world, from the UK to Poland, India, Thailand, Brazil, Turkey, and more recently in the 2019 protests. The mask was even banned in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the UAE in 2013. All these protests hail the mask become the top-selling mask on Amazon.com in 2011. Number 9. Paul Atreides from the Dune universe. Frank Herbert's Dune is often considered sci-fi's greatest fantasy epic, inspiring a lot of future works in the genre, including a little movie franchise called Star Wars. Don't know about you, but you might have heard about it. Our hero, or anti-hero, depending on which part of the story you're at, is Paul, a teenager with a special destiny, the one who will lead us to paradise. Of course, to get to paradise, you need to start a bloody war with the Empire first. Paul is also based on actual real-life revolutionary leader T.E. Lawrence, also known as Lawrence of Arabia, an important figure in the Arab Revolt in the early 1900s. Overall, the book series is a critique of the Chosen One narrative, pointing out that even heroes are likely to F you over someday. Number 8. Alfred from The Handmaid's Tale. Yes, this is my girl. Sorry, this is my favorite piece of dystopian literature. I guess you can call it dystopian, it's a pretty whack world. Anyway, Alfred from The Handmaid's Tale. In fictional Gilead, where fertility rates are dangerously low, fertile women are basically forced to be slaves to the state so they can bear the children of high-ranking men in the government. Ugh. Anyway, our hero Alfred narrates her experiences as a so-called handmaiden and member of Mayday, a secret resistance movement working to bring the regime down. In the book, Alfred's rebellions are kept small and mostly personal. And compared to the other people on this list, she's not really blowing things up. But she remains a strong and complex character who keeps fighting against a system that is trying to erase her identity. Yes, I did run out of breath there. I wanted to say that all in one breath, but yes, I stand by that. And when Margaret Atwood wrote her 1985 dystopian novel, The Handmaid's Tale, she based a lot of the scenarios on things that have already happened in real life. In an interview, she claims that she, quote, didn't put anything that we haven't already done, we're not already doing, we are seriously trying to do, coupled with trends that are already in progress. So all these things are real. Which is why, even more than 30 years later, Alfred remains a feminist icon for us all. Number 7. Angeleros from Les Miserables. Sorry if I butcher that. I know I've been saying a lot of terms in French over the past few episodes, but forgive me, I'm just not that fluent yet. Anyway, Victor Hugo's long, and I mean long, epic of injustice and redemption includes a part dedicated to the French Revolution. No, not that one. The other one. The not-so-famous June 1832 rebellion in Paris. Hugo's fictional retelling focuses on the doomed student org Les Amis de la Bessie and its passionate and, depending on adaptational hotness, dreamy leader Angeleros. This role was played by Ramin Carmelou and Aaron Tveit. That's right, fangirls, I hear you screaming. In the book, he's an angelic, wide-eyed idealist who's too perfectly pure. When he has to shoot a soldier, a tear falls slowly down his marble cheek. When faced with a firing squad, he simply says, "Shoot me," and then dies smiling and holding hands with his friend Grantaire. A detail that all the fangirl shippers have not missed. In fact, there's over 13,000 works dedicated to Angeleros posted on the fanfiction website Archive of Our Own, also known as AO3. That's 10,000 more than any of the actual main characters of Les Mis, cementing his fan favorite status. Also in the popular musical, it's Angeleros who gets to perform the rousing anthem, Do You Hear the People Sing? A song used in various protests around the world, from Hong Kong to Turkey and even here in the Philippines. Quite a touching version, may I add. It just lights the fire of revolution, don't you think? Number 6. The Hobbit Resistance from The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Ah, my favorite little people. My people. Yes. Okay, so Frodo has finally chucked the One Ring down Mount Doom with the help of Mr. Samwise Gamgee, by the way. And our Hobbit heroes return home to the Shire just dreaming of a well-deserved nap, and what do they get? Well, more stuff to do. And why is that? Because the Shire has been taken over by Saruman in disguise, and he's busy cutting down trees and destroying the countryside in one last act of petty revenge. Huh, sounds familiar. Not quite petty, not so much of revenge, but don't you just hate it when trees and countrysides are destroyed hatefully? Man. Anyway, the gang, of course, has no choice but to delay that nap and rouse a rebellion against him. Eventually, Merry and Pippin lead the hobbits to victory in the Battle of Bywater. This part, unfortunately, gets cut from adaptations. Even the Academy Award-winning trilogy, because honestly, dealing with it properly needs more running time. But critics often call The Scouring of the Shire the most important chapter in J.R.R. Tolkien's trilogy. It lends itself to a lot of political readings, but it's also a simple reminder of how war touches and changes everything. Number 5. Elphaba from Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. Where would we be without modern reimaginings of pop culture villains and their tragic-as-hell backstories? Think of characters like Maleficent, the Joker, Hannibal, and how many books, movies, or TV shows are spent explaining that they're not really evil, they're just misunderstood. One of the most famous examples of these is the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. or Elphaba, as she's named in Gregory Maguire's 1995 novel Wicked. Elphaba spends most of her childhood being horribly mistreated because of the color of her skin, as it is no one's fault. I mean, not our fault that we're born this way. Anyway, it's because of this that it's no surprise that she can't stand seeing others being mistreated as well. In college, she joins the Animal Rights Matters movement when she finds out how the government has been discriminating against animals with a capital A, that is, the intelligent talking kind, and treating them like they're animals without a capital A. The problem, of course, is that her intentions are good, but her methods are highly questionable. But the very popular 2003 Broadway musical adaptation softens her character just a little bit, painting her more as a hero than a villain in the making. Number 4. House Stark from A Song of Ice and Fire series. Okay, so practically everyone in the George R.R. Martin epic fantasy series can be considered a rebel at one point because they're always trying to evict Mad Kings off of that monster of an Iron Throne. But at the center of it all is our favorite literary wolf pack, the Starks. The first rebellion happens off-book after Rhaegar Targaryen allegedly kidnaps Lyanna Stark while his father arrests, tortures, and murders her father and older brother. The Starks do manage to win that one, and they put their ally Robert Baratheon on the throne. Barely a generation later, another Mad King arises, and once again, our noble Stark family has to stir up another war against the throne. Of course, the series is still unfinished, so will this long-suffering family finally have their happy ending? Or will it go the way of the divisive HBO Game of Thrones series with them having to deal with one last mad tyrant on the throne? Find out in 2021. Or never. I mean, I did hear that they were planning to go in a different direction from the series, but I don't know. And yes, I am kinda bitter. I have been waiting. I mean, I never watched the series past season 1, but I have finished the 5 books back in high school, and I am still waiting for the 6th. Like, come on, man. I just want to know how the series ends before the world does, okay? Number 3. Captain America and the Secret Avengers from Marvel's Civil War. You know you're in trouble when the supposed symbol of all things good and pure in your country goes against said country's government because of a law they want to pass. Which is exactly what happens in the Marvel comic crossover event Civil War. Captain America opposes the Superhuman Registration Act, a law that requires all superpowered individuals to register with the government. The main view against it being that the registration of othered people has historically been proven as a bad thing. See Nazi Germany. And we all know nothing good ever comes from being compared to Nazis. The resulting clash between the pro-government heroes headed by Iron Man and Captain America's team of Secret Avengers made for an epic showdown that has since been adapted into many forms of media, including, of course, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Captain America Civil War, which was the highest-grossing movie of 2016. Did you guys know that? Number 2. Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games trilogy. Over the course of Suzanne Collins' best-selling YA trilogy, our girl Katniss evolves from a scared teenager just trying to survive a battle royale called the Hunger Games to unwilling icon of revolt against the greedy capital. The books were a certified bestseller, usually fighting with Harry Potter for the top spot. While the movie adaptation is the second highest-grossing film series based on young adult books, coming just behind Harry Potter again. It was also named as one of the 100 novels that shaped our world by the BBC in 2019. More than that, the Mockingjay gesture, where you raise your hand with 3 of the middle fingers pressed together, has become a sign of defiance in the real world as well. Protesters during the 2014 Thai demonstrations made the salute to challenge the military-imposed government. The police then banned the hand signal, which led to multiple arrests. It's currently being used in the 2020 Thai protests. Number 1. Dumbledores Army and the Order of the Phoenix from the Harry Potter series. Well, of course, we can't finish this list without mentioning Harry Potter and his gang. After all, Harry Potter is the best-selling book series in history, selling over 500 million copies worldwide. Dumbledore's Army originally began as a secret organization founded by our Golden Trio, that is, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, in defiance against the horrible, terrible, ugly, pink menace, Professor Dolores Umbridge. It was restarted during the Second Wizarding War to team up with another secret group, the Order of the Phoenix, to oust he who must not be named from the Ministry of Magic. Another fun fact: the Order of the Phoenix was established by the Army's namesake, Dumbledore, whose pet phoenix Fawkes is named after Guy Fawkes, bringing us full circle. And that is a wrap, you guys, both for this episode and for the first season of Digestibles. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. And don't worry, we'll be back. If there is anything you would like us to discuss during Season 2, drop us a comment on any or all of the usual social media pages, or use the hashtag DigestiblesPodcast. You can also catch up with the whole season on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever podcasts are found. And there we have it. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I'm Gabby, and you can find me at Gabby Pasquavox on Instagram and Twitter. We'll see you when we see you. Bye for now! Digestibles is part of Connect, a podcast network, bringing together entertaining stories to spark your imagination. For more awesome content, visit connectpodcast.net or follow us on social media @ConnectPodcasts.